Okay, so I'm just going to do this really fast. This is just going to be a basic quick tutorial on how to actually set this up. I'm assuming you're using OBS multi-platform, as that's the only version that's actually available for Mac OS X. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into this. I'm going to create a new scene called Suna. Under the sources, you actually have three options for what you want to do as far as recording your capture. You have display capture, game capture, and video capture, I guess, or window. Video capture being your webcam. Window capture will capture a certain window that you designate within the properties. Display capture will capture whatever comes up on displays. So I have two monitors. Right now I'm recording monitor 1 on a separate version or a separate instance of OBS, for example. But the one we're going to want to use here is game capture. I'm going to go to game capture, just create a new one, call it Gmod, because that's the game you're recording. Now I'm going to go and just start up CSS. It doesn't really matter what game I start up, and there's a reason for this. So if I go back to the OBS window, I don't want it to capture any full screen application. I prefer to have it capture the actual exe file, as that just kind of tends to work better, I feel. So if I select capture specific window, I go to window, you can see here it has hl2.exe, also named Counter-Strike source. Click on that. It has to match the executive name, or the executable name, so you don't really need to change anything else here. You can disable this if you want to. Doesn't really matter. And press OK. At this point, you'll see here, I just gotta do this. CSS now shows up on my game capture. It also showed up when I had it set to full screen application. I just prefer to use the exe file, as I know it'll target it directly. Now, what you want to do to fix the scaling issue for your video is you notice that this can actually move the sizing here. So after you set that up, do like I did and go into the game really quickly so you can actually see it on your screen and size it to however you want, or however you need it on the screen. It will, or rather the image will snap to the edges of the screen like this once it's full sized. You may also want to adjust the image to resolution, which is where we're going to go next. We're going to go to the settings. So as far as optimal settings go, you don't really need to worry too much about general or stream, as obviously you're not going to be streaming this. You're going to start with output. On your output, I personally have my video bitrate set up to 2500, but again, that's only really for streaming. That doesn't matter. Recording is where you're going to want to start messing with things. My recording path is set to my video folder. You can have it set to whatever folder you want. Your recording quality, though, is what you're going to want to mess with. Now you notice that mine is on indistinguishable quality, large file size, which is the second highest quality that you can do, or that you can use in OBS multi-platform. Now this does use extra CPU. I have an i7-6700K, so I don't really have to worry about that too much. But again, assuming that you're on Mac, because due to the screenshots I've seen on the forums before, you might want to set that to high quality, or even same as stream. If you do set that to same as stream, then up here you're going to want to adjust your video bitrate basically to what I have. And that should be perfectly compatible up there. And then also you're going to want to make adjustments on the video side. But again, make sure that this is set to comply with your CPU, as you could have had it set too high before, which is what most likely caused the freezes in the video. Your base canvas resolution is going to be whatever your monitor resolution is. So if your monitor's resolution is 1600 by 1900, which would be my other monitor, then that's what you're going to set it to. And you can also edit it like this, so I could have it be 1,000,000 by 1,000,000 if I wanted to, or whatever number, but I'm going to keep it at 1920 by 1080. Then the output, which is the scaled resolution, you don't really have to change for this. That's more for streaming, which just basically adjusts your compatibility with Twitch and lowers down the usage of your network when you're streaming. Now the downscale filter, I prefer bicubic over bilinear, and then length, so however you say that, is actually better than bicubic. But you may want to use bilinear depending, again, on your CPU usage, so you may have to record this multiple times to adjust the freezing issue that you had. Now, for the FPS, if you're not getting 30 FPS when you're actually recording the video, then you're not going to, or 60 rather, then you're going to want to set it to something lower. I'd recommend setting it to whatever value that you are actually getting. Now, if you are getting 60 FPS, then by all means set it to 60 FPS. You can also set it to integer FPS values, or you can customize it, and fraction FPS values. which you wouldn't really need to mess with, I'm assuming. Under your advanced settings, there's not really too much that you need to change. These are mostly for streaming. For your video renderer, I prefer Direct3D11. OpenGL works just as well, though. I'm not sure if Direct3D11 is actually available on Mac. I don't really know too much about Macs. These are the optimal settings that I have set. Your priority should really be saying it normal. Anything above that will obviously increase CPU usage, and actually can decrease the quality of the video that you're recording, because if you were to set this process priority to high, then OBS would be taking precedence over the game, which is probably not what you want. Other than that, there's nothing else that you really need to change. You can just kind of hop into the game, click on start recording, and there you go. So that's about it.